everything's made out of wood. And you then understand that if there is an earthquake, what's the point? Or a tsunami, or a wildfire, or even if you think about it, they've got like Mount Fuji as well, which is a volcano that because disaster can happen at any point in time. There's no point of building up things out of stone because they will then just get destroyed unless it's for like military purposes, whether if it's like a wall to protect, like for example, or a fortress like Osaka Castle. And then you then understand why everything is then made of paper and flimsy and can easily be brought down and then built up again.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Even like in the modern era, just Japan is so vulnerable to natural disasters like that. That earthquake and tsunami that took place in, God, I can't remember what year was it, 2012 maybe?
Yeah, 2012 or 2013.
I think 10,000 people died, and that's in like Japan, in a very highly developed country, and it just,
In the 1400s, if you called someone a bastard, he would almost kill the person because it literally means that your mum is a whore who sleeps around and your father. But the thing is, for us, it's like, oh, it's just a word. But then in other cultures, if you translate that word, and I think like if you translate it into Arabic, it is a lot worse, and someone could potentially kill the person for saying it. And like in other languages, it's a lot worse. And I think at times, because words in English are said so often, and also one thing that my friend said is that he believes that English could be a colloquial. So the melding of two languages, whether it was like the Normans French mixing with the Viking, Norse and Germanic and Anglo-Saxon language to then have one language that everyone could then understand. And like I was watching, I think someone was talking about like the history of English kings. And so all of the words like beef and pork and lamb are all French, but then pig and cow and sheep and mutton are all English.
Yeah, in all fairness, someone should do something about it. Like, he shouldn't stand by and talk about Toranaga's reaction in the next episode. And
even like the Yabushige's nephew, when he's having the conversation while they're drinking like sake, I think either he was clever and he used it as a ploy to
definitely did,
to gauge him into that action.
Yeah.
Or he did it by mistake and was like, you know what, you really should speak to your father because this is something big. But if he did do it on purpose, then hats off to him, because that type of manipulation, especially if you're able to manipulate those who are in a higher position than you to get the results you want, is an amazing trait to have.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it was definitely a manipulation move. And then when Jozen finally sees it, and I love Toranaga's son, because he just took a big stand, was like, no, definitely not. There's some like interesting lessons about well-being in it, as well as just the beauty of Japanese culture.
One thing I did read as well is that during the period there was like a big increase in like the new form of Confucian. I always make this up. Confucianism.
Okay.
Like that word came in, so that's probably where the mindfulness comes in, and also the many different like sayings that Mariko says, and also the others within like their culture say. And I think another key thing which she was saying is that now you understand why their walls are then made of paper, everything's made out of wood. And you then understand that if there is an earthquake, what's the point? Or a tsunami, or a wildfire, or even if you think about it, they've got like Mount Fuji as well, which is a volcano that because disaster can happen at any point in time. There's no point of building up things out of stone because they will then just get destroyed unless it's for like military purposes, whether if it's like a wall to protect, like for example, or a fortress like Osaka Castle.
It's not that they bitch about him behind his back, but they're like, he's like, oh, he's done this. He kind of keeps everyone on the edge of a seat. So maybe it is perhaps a deliberate tactic, a good leadership skill. He does seem very wise, Toranaga. He's a cool guy. And an interesting thing is the cannon. They mentioned the cannon fire. You know, initially the Japanese were like, "Oh, why is he going to show us the cannons? They're so inaccurate anyway." But these cannons are incredibly accurate, and they seem better with the Dutch. Or I mean, are they Dutch cannons? I guess they are because they're from a Dutch ship.
And also, if you think about it, like advances kept on coming through in Europe while the Portuguese were there. Because if the Portuguese hadn't gone back for some time and had been just trading between Japan and China, or have just been going around the Asia Pacific to then trade and also to pillage, they then haven't got the recent advancements that John has come with his ship as well.